The first crack. In the year 2020, the first dimensional crack appeared in the heart of Kyra, a state in the nation of Indraka. The moment it opened, even the gods worshipped by the people of Kyra seemed frozen in silence. Then it happened. Thousands of monsters poured out of the crack like water bursting through a broken dam. Goblins, orcs, ogres, wyverns, dragons, and countless other mythical creatures flooded into the world. There was nothing capable of stopping them. Within days, more than half of Kyra's population was either killed or missing. The monsters spread through every city and village like a plague, leaving only death and destruction behind. The fall of Kyra. The government of Indraka immediately deployed its military to stop the monsters and rescue civilians. However, they quickly realized that even their strongest military forces could not stop the invasion. An emergency summit was held with world leaders. Their decision was simple: seal off Kyra completely to protect the rest of the world. Within months, enormous fortified walls surrounded the entire state. The borders were heavily guarded with advanced military weapons, elite soldiers, and research facilities tasked with containing the monsters and studying them. Only highly respected political leaders, scientists, celebrities, wealthy families, and a limited number of upper-middle-class citizens were allowed to evacuate. Millions of ordinary people were abandoned inside Kyra. They became prey for the monsters. The survivors were forced to fight for their own lives, but humanity was completely unprepared. Families disappeared overnight. Friends watched each other die. One after another, loved ones became food for the monsters. Humanity's last refuge. As the days passed, survivors hiding inside holy places noticed something strange. The monsters never entered temples, churches, or mosques. Desperate people rushed toward these sacred places. Then a miracle happened. As a final act of mercy, the gods created divine barriers around every holy site. These barriers could repel monsters up to S rank, turning the holy places into humanity's final refuges. Believing the gods would save them, people prayed day and night. But no answer came, only silence. Eventually, hunger became stronger than faith. People stopped praying. Instead, they crafted crude weapons from farming tools, kitchen knives, iron pipes, and anything they could find before venturing outside to search abandoned homes for food and supplies. At first, they survived, but even the weakest monsters, goblins and killer rabbits, possessed strength far beyond that of trained athletes, making every expedition a desperate battle for survival. Learning to survive. A handful of survivors finally managed to kill low-level monsters such as killer rabbits. Soon they discovered something shocking. The monsters were edible. Within a single week, humanity had returned to a primitive age where eating raw or barely cooked monster meat became completely normal. Survival was more important than dignity. The world's greed. 2 weeks after the invasion began, the government of Indraka successfully captured several living monsters for research. Instead of focusing on rescuing the remaining survivors in Kyra, they monopolized monster resources. Captured monsters, body parts, magical crystals, and rare materials were sold to foreign nations. Countries around the world competed to study monster biology, magic, and technology, hoping to create powerful biological and mechanical weapons. No one knew what discoveries they made behind closed doors. The end of the first invasion. Then something unexpected happened. The low-level monsters began dying on their own. Scientists eventually discovered the reason. These creatures required mana to survive, but Earth contained none. Without mana, most low-level monsters could survive for only about 5 weeks. No new dimensional cracks appeared anywhere else in the world. Many believed Kyra had been cursed by the gods. A second tragedy. The suffering of Kyra did not end there. People from Kyra living in other regions and countries became targets of fear and hatred. Many were isolated, some were imprisoned, others were burned alive or even beheaded by terrified mobs who believed they carried the curse. Several governments secretly captured survivors from Kyra for experiments, hoping to uncover the truth behind the mysterious disaster. The world had abandoned them. The monsters unite. Several months later, another impossible event occurred. Every surviving high-level monster across Kyra gathered around the original Great Crack. Creatures that had once been mortal enemies now stood side by side. Using enormous amounts of magical energy, they created a gigantic dimensional gate. This time, no monsters emerged. Instead, the gate released brilliant light, strange winds, glowing crystals, unknown minerals, mysterious dust, and endless streams of magical energy that spread far beyond Kyra. Soon, similar dimensional gates began appearing across the entire world. Each gate transformed the surrounding environment. Creatures once thought to exist only in fantasy, elves, dwarves, beastkin, fairies, demons, and many other demi-human races seen only in novels, manhwa, and anime, began appearing in the real world. The birth of Etherons. The mysterious particles released from the gates spread throughout Earth's atmosphere. Scientists later named these evolved magical particles Etherons. Etherons changed the world forever. Earth itself began to evolve. Plants evolved first, then birds. As Etherons spread through rivers, lakes, and oceans, fish also began to evolve. Soon afterward, animals and humans started changing as well. The age of evolution had begun. The First Awakening. The first humans to awaken supernatural powers appeared in Kyra. Some gained overwhelming physical strength. Others awakened extraordinary magical abilities. Some received profession-based powers, becoming healers, blacksmiths, alchemists, tamers, assassins, summoners, and countless other unique classes. Every awakened individual possessed a unique ability. They became known as the First Awakeners, but unlike the rest of humanity, they carried deep hatred. They hated the monsters that destroyed their homeland. They also hated the world that abandoned Kyra when it needed help the most. As Etherons spread across the planet, awakenings began occurring everywhere. Civilization transformed into a new age of magic and adventure. Powerful heroes emerged. Saints blessed by different religions appeared. Legendary martial arts masters reached unimaginable heights. Great scientists combined magic with technology. Kings, adventurers, guilds, empires, and powerful organizations rose throughout the world. Thus began a new era of magic, monsters, and endless war. The beginning of the legend. But this is not the story of those heroes. This is the story of an ordinary office worker who died during the very first monster invasion. Instead of passing on, he was reincarnated as a half-orc, a being born from both humans and orcs, feared and rejected by every race. Armed with the memories of his previous life, he would challenge fate itself. His journey would reshape the balance between humans, demi-humans, and monsters, bringing an end to centuries of hatred and leading the world into a new era unlike anything history had ever seen. This is where his legend begins. Author's note: this is the first original story by OtakuMalayali. If you enjoyed this story outline, please leave a comment, like, and subscribe. Every positive review gives the author confidence, motivation, and support to release new chapters faster. Thank you for reading, and welcome to the beginning of a new legend.